What do you want to wear? A piece of jewelry or an IEM? Hello and thank you again for clicking on this video where I'll be sharing my experience listening to these two IEMs and making a hopefully quick comparison. I've already done individual in-depth reviews for these two IEMs, so if you're interested in checking them out, I'll leave links in the description down below. You can check out my individual reviews to see what these two IEMs comes with and how they look and fit, but just talking about it and comparing them briefly, as mentioned in my opening, one looks like jewelry whereas the other looks like an IEM. So it really depends on whether the Dioko's looks attract you, but for me personally, I like the Raptgo's design even though it's a little plain. The fit is also better for me for the Raptgo, and the Dioko's shape tend to push the IEMs out of my ear, so it's hard to get a good fit or seal for the Dioko's, and the Raptgo is a little more lightweight, so it fits inside my ear better. In terms of accessories, the Raptgo has slightly more offerings, unless size of case matters, in which the Dioko's case is just massive but makes it more difficult for portability but ensures security. But the Raptgo comes with interchangeable terminations, which for me now is something I see as a standard for every IEM sets above $200. Otherwise, it's a fail because it's just so useful. They both come with plenty of interchangeable ear tips, but the ones on the Dioko feels really plasticky and cheap. The cable is thick on the Dioko's, whereas it's lighter and braided on the Raptgo. One issue that is still present on the Hook X is that sucking sound, which you can check my in-depth review to find out what I mean. Overall, they both come with a lot of accessories, and with Dioko's price, that's a great deal. But again, it's up to preference whether you think beautifying your ears with the Dioko is something you want, depending on whether it even fits or not. So if you can, try them first, look in the mirror, mirror on the wall, you know the drift. So let's talk about sound. For the bass, Raptgo just floors the Dioko in my opinion for this category. The rumble, the impact, the clean planar bass on the Raptgo is simply enjoyable. You get a bit of sub bass on the Dioko and you get clean bass, but there's a difference between a step and a stomp, and you're getting a step on the Dioko. You hear the bass, you know it's bass, but you're not feeling it. You feel it on the Raptgo. Bass, Raptgo next. Mids on the Dioko is cleaner and slightly more forward, whereas the mids on the Raptgo is slightly recessed. If vocal emphasis is important, then the Dioko is slightly better in that presentation, but that's not to say the Raptgo is bad. If I were to put it into words, and please take this lightly, imagine if a vocalist is standing right in front of you. Then the instruments are a step back on the Dioko's, whereas for the Raptgo, it's like the vocalist took half a step or a step backwards, so it's almost on the same plane as the background sound, but the entire presentation is not overly recessed, but it's not forward either. So if you're all about the mids, Dioko takes this category. In my initial review of the Raptgo, the treble sounded smooth to me at first, but after listening to it for many months and comparing this to other IEMs who are truly treble friendly, I now hear the sparkle in the upper frequencies on the Raptgo. It did make me wince a bit on some female tracks, especially on my Let's Shure DT02 dongle, but on my HiFiMan EF400 is not as harsh or sibilant, but it's tipping its toes in those waters. Similar to Dioko's treble, they're almost comparable, with the Dioko just being a little bit sharper in those regions, but by so little I'd almost put their treble in the same category. But due to the lack of mid-bass presence on the Dioko, all those sparkle comes through clearer, and thus it was sharper to my ears. For Soundstage, I'm not sure if it's the recessed mids on the Raptgo or the open back design, which honestly I feel is not the reason, but basically what I'm trying to say is that the Raptgo Hook X sounds wider, but imaging is slightly better on the Dioko's, probably due to the lower emphasis on the lower regions of the sound, and the slightly higher treble clears the path for sounds to come through. I'd say separation of sound is slightly better on the Raptgo due to the wider presentation, but they're both not the best at it. For price, Dioko easily beats the Raptgo with this, as the Raptgo cost about 2 times more, and the Dioko is on sale right now as of recording this video. So if all of the above talk about the sound for the Dioko suits you, then you might want to check it out. They're both about the same in terms of power requirement to drive, where I'll be on the 10 to 11 o'clock dial on the EF400, and I'm getting to about 80 to 90% on the ROG Phone 5S, but at least you can still power them from your phone, but their sound benefits from better sources, but you'll only be getting very marginal difference in my opinion. So in summary, unfortunately, I have a certain preference in sound and it has to have some level of bass in it for me to consider keeping that IEM. So that already puts Raptgo Hook X a step ahead, but there are several other reasons as to why I prefer the Raptgo as an overall package, despite the higher price tag, which is my preference for its looks, the accessories, the fit which suits me better, the interchangeable terminations is just so useful, and for the sound,
the Raptgo has better bass, a wider sound presentation, and with a somewhat bright but not overly harsh treble.
The Dioko does have cleaner mids, but I have other IEMs that is similar to this sound profile and does it better than the Diokos, and owning the HE1000 V2 headphones has shown me what planar magnetic drivers are capable of, so there's no reason for me to keep an IEM that can only show me what the drivers could be capable of. Plus, the fit and looks of the Diokos just doesn't suit me. Nice case though. With that all said, unfortunately the Raptgo would be my pick, and I'll be selling the Diokos to someone who prefers its tuning and would want to have an introduction to what planar magnetic drivers can do. That concludes my comparison of these two IEMs. However, this is simply one man's thoughts and opinions, and I'm curious to hear your experience as well. Do you feel the Dioko is better than the Raptgo, or the Raptgo easily takes the cake here? Share with me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching, and till the next experience, I'll see you in the next video.